Hello, all. Welcome back. Yesterday I talked about how you can make the right decision and still struggle, and I outlined a few different areas of my life where I did struggle a bit, and I still struggle sometimes after making a few really big life decisions. I talked about the mental aspect, the social aspect, and the career aspect, and today I kind of wanted to look at the more positive aspect of it, specifically when it comes to my job. Like as much imposter syndrome as I experience, as much occasional stress and anxiety I experience, there are also a lot of positives that remind me that I made the right decision, and I wanted to share a little bit of that today. So, if you don't know, my name is Alexis. I am posting every single day here on YouTube. Check the track record. I think today is 20. I should have double checked. It's either day 23 or 24. But yeah, you can check the channel and see how many videos I've posted. Since the first one, it's been every single day. And my goal is to post for at minimum 100 days. So, if you want to hop on this train early, feel free to hit that subscribe button and follow along. Yeah, so getting back to the topic at hand, just very quick recap. If you saw yesterday's video, then you already kind of know the backstory. But right after I moved across the country, I started a brand new job in a new field and a new role that I had never done before. And it was very stressful, exciting, but very stressful because obviously there is a good bit of imposter syndrome going into it. I had already tried to pivot into a different career, and maybe I'll talk about that one day too, because there was one career pivot that absolutely failed until I realized that, like, okay, sales is what I need to be doing. And I like honed the process to getting a sales job. Um, so in my role in California, I was washing surgical instruments. That's what I did all day long. There's like different aspects to it. Sometimes you'd be washing like endoscopes. Sometimes you'd be delivering the surgical instruments to the OR and everything. Like there are different parts of the job, but essentially, our job was to our job was to receive the instruments post op, wash them, assemble them so that the doctor had everything that they needed and it was organized in, a logical way so that them and the techs could find it, and then sterilize it and either get it stored or get it sent back to the operating room so that they could reuse it. And I don't know if you've never worked in healthcare, it can be extremely stressful. I will say this particular hospital wasn't quite as bad as some of the other ones I had been at. Some of the other ones I had been at were like teaching hospitals and, various levels of trauma centers. So we'd be getting people helicoptered in from different parts of the state and even other states sometimes. Especially like kids at one of the hospitals I worked at, it was a lot of children. It was a pediatric hospital, so we were getting kids airlifted in with all sorts of just, I, yeah, it was just a lot. And in this role, um, I because of course they're always short staffed, they always need people there. I ended up working a lot of, like, instead of just my straight 8-hour shifts, I was working a lot of 12 and 16-hour shifts. And of course, like, you get the overtime, but there's a point where you like the extra money on your check gets taxed to the point where you're really not seeing extra money. So there's the stress and fatigue of going into work like that, and then looking on your check and not really seeing the benefit. And then on top of that, you're going with a boss that, like, you're really not fond of. Long story short, she was I don't know if she was specifically racist towards black people so much as she was biased for her own people, if that makes sense. Um yeah, I yeah. She also had a strong preference for the young men that worked in our department. So it ended up being a whole thing, with like contract violations, and I won't go into too much detail, but basically, after doing some research and talking to the union, I found out that she owed me quite a lot of money in contract violations because of how she was running the department, and specifically like our scheduling and everything. So, as you can imagine, that oh, she cut my hours from 40 hours a week. It was supposed to be 40 hours a week for at least a few months. She cut my hours from 40 hours a week to 16 hours a month. I'm going to say that again. She cut my hours from 40 hours a week to 16 hours a month and expected me to be cool with that. So, I had already been wanting to move and everything. So I started looking into moving, but of course, it's really hard to move when you're not making any money and you can't get another job. And it was a whole thing, y'all. When I tell you, I was so stressed and I was so depressed and so like so many aspects of my life were just really, it just wasn't going great for me. Okay. Like like you want to know how down bad I was at that point. I There was a like career program that a few of my friends over on the East Coast had done. And I found out about it. I realized that there was one near me, and it's like a 2 year program. And then you get an internship at some company. It's like 96% of the people that finish their program get put into an internship. And it could be for project management, it could be for I don't know if they had product management, but it was a few like different roles that you could do either in like tech, corporate, or whatever. So, me looking at the application process, I knew I could get into the program, okay? Because what they required was, like financial information and all that. And then they required you to like write a letter, like an essay um to the program, basically telling them why you wanted to join the program, what you wanted to do with your career, all that sort of thing. And here's the thing that a lot of people don't necessarily know about me, because it's not like I I'm not writing on the regular, but I know I can write. So if you tell me that you need me to write something that's like provoking, that is moving and impactful, I know I can do that. And I had taken so many L's that year. This is 2023. I had taken so many L's that year that I applied to the program knowing that I was going to decline. Like, I was not going to do this program. It was a 2 year thing. I wanted to move sooner than that, way sooner than that. Like, if I could have moved in a month at that point, I absolutely would have. So I applied to this program. I went through the whole like 6 week process of talking to people on the phone and getting all of this financial information. I had to ask my parents for like certain information because they had some of my paperwork, and like writing the whole essay. I think I spent like 3 hours one night, like in the middle of the night, writing this essay because I hadn't worked in like 2 weeks and had nothing better to do. Um, it's funny thinking about it now. At the time, I was just like, I just needed to win. But wrote the essay, sent it in, and the next day, 24. I think it was within 24 hours. I got a message back, and they were like, "Hi, we'd like to we really liked your essay, and we want to talk to you about the program and what you're looking to get out of it." And da da da. And I was like, "Yeah, I know that's right." It was so ridiculous. I knew that I wasn't going to go through this program, right? And then I go through the interviews and everything, and that's the other thing. I tend to interview pretty well. So went through the like, interview and a half that they had, and got the notification like, "Hey, you've been accepted into such and such a program." And I swiftly declined because I'm like, yeah, I need to move now. So I don't know what I need to do. I don't know what I need to do, but I know I'm not doing this 2 year program. So I declined and was just like, I took a little confidence boost, my little ego boost, and that's all I needed. But anyway, so I was a couple months later, I ended up getting this new job at my current company. And another story I also need to tell is of the jobs that I ended up turning down, because there were three other offers that I got the same month. And one of them, uh, basically, I talked to the VP and he was like, "Here's the thing," because he knew I was interviewing at other companies. I was like in the final rounds of other companies, right? So he's like trying to get me to join. And he's like, "Here's the thing: if you join our company, like within 2 years, I can ensure that you're making $200,000 a year." And I turned it down. And we'll talk about that another day. We will talk about that another day. But this is why I say you need to apply to companies that like align with you, because yeah, like three of the four companies that I got offers from like fit the minimum criteria that I needed. But I was really, really happy that I was able to like choose which one really, really fit what I needed. So, or what I wanted. So I took my current job, and when I tell you the relief I felt, like, yes, there was some anxiety, yes, there was some stress, but when you go from like, because there are two sides of the coin, right? When you go from working either not nearly enough, like 16 hours a month is 2 days a month. When you go from working either 16 hours a month, struggling to figure out how your bills are going to get paid, and the flip side, which is like 12 and 16-hour shifts regularly because they're shorthanded and they want you to come in all the time and you're required to like come in a certain amount, to having a regular job. When I tell you, if it was not for me waking up and doing these YouTube videos, I would roll over in bed, turn on my laptop, and start sending my emails. Like, it would look very different. um and even like certain perks, I'll say, of the job, like the flexibility in my schedule. I mention this quite often, but even in terms of like my ministry, I tend to spend on average about 50 hours in my ministry each month. Um it is so nice to be able to say, you know what, from on Tuesdays from 3 p.m. to 5, I know that I'm going to engage in the ministry, so I'm going to block off my calendar for that time, and I'll make up for it on Thursday. Or one Friday a month, I'm going to engage in the ministry from 9 a.m. to 12 o'clock. And then after that, I'll just work later in the evening. Or one of my friends, this just happened, another one of my friends also works from home. And and we went to lunch like on a random Thursday. And I can do that because I didn't have any meetings and she didn't have any meetings. We were like, you want to go to First Watch? Yeah, let's go to First Watch. Let's go get some pancakes. And like stuff like that is invaluable. The other thing is being able to, with this company and with my role specifically, I don't know that I'd be able to do it with every role in this company just because of like the type of data that we work with, but being able to travel and take my laptop and still be able to do my job without having to take time off, such a beautiful thing. If you guys want to hear about my time working in the Netherlands, I spent, what was it, in 20, yeah, this is my first year here in 2024. I spent a week remote working in the Netherlands, and it was a whole thing. I like kind of went out there for a concert and things got canceled and whatnot. But anyway, um yeah, so spent a week remote working in the Netherlands, went to a hotel, it was just a cycling my way around. And like that's something I would never be able to do at my old job. I feel like all of this outweighs, the occasional stress and anxiety that I get, or the fact that this company has unlimited PTO that they actually allow you to use. Like if I am on PTO and I put like out of office on my calendar and somebody sees my little green Slack bubble, I will get messages that are like, "Why are you working right now? Go enjoy your vacation, enjoy your family, and like, what are you doing?" Of course, they can't force me not to work, but like they take it very seriously, and I've seen everyone on my team take a week off, 2 weeks off, long weekends randomly. Um, Yeah, like when I tell you, I was telling my mom about this current job, and she was like, "Did you give them did you give them your social security number? Did you give them your bank information? Have they asked you any money? Is this a scam? Did you double check the company online? Like, this is a real company?" Like, yes, mom, it's it's a real company. These are jobs that did not exist when my parents were working. Um, yeah, man. So, kind of wrapping up here, which means I'm going to keep yapping for 3 minutes. Yeah, yesterday I did talk a lot about the challenges that you can have, but ultimately it's these other moments that I have that make me remember like, okay, yes, this is why I did this career pivot. This is why I went into tech sales. This is why I did this whole life change, and ultimately it's worth it. Like, you're going to have bad moments, but ultimately it's worth it. And that's also partially why I started this channel. Like, I want other people to experience this. Like, I already got my job. Okay, I already got my job. I know I can get another one. If I'm telling you guys how to get a new job, I can get another job. But I want other people to get this, and I want other people to get like the benefits that they want. If you have a family and you are somebody who's like, I need a stable job, but I also need to make sure that I can stay home with my infant child, or I'm a caregiver, so I need a job that I can work at, maybe odd hours or in between times, and I'm caring for my mother or my grandmother or whoever. If you're somebody who's like, look, I have student loans to pay off and I just need a job, even if I have to work 16 hours a day, that will make me a ton of money really quick so I can pay off these loans, pay off my car, whatever it is. The job market sucks, but the jobs are out there. Like, people are getting hired, and if I can provide you some tips to help you do that, that's why I'm here. In addition to me yapping about traveling and, being more confident in your life and the reality of living as an adult, then that's what I want to do. So, if you don't know, my name is Alexis. I post every single day. Check my track record. I wish I had before I started this video because I don't remember if today's day 23 or day 24. But check my track record. Okay, it's been every single day for almost, I think, yeah, a little over 3 weeks, which is crazy, y'all. It's crazy. Yeah. But if you want to jump on this train early, please feel free. We're happy to have you. And yeah, I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye.